Ladies and gentlemen, we have got ourselves a situation here. And let me tell you, it is one of the most ridiculous, one of the most absurd, one of the most hilarious social media debacles we have ever seen.
Hasan, you got your shoes? What does that mean? Hasan, we need you on the Lakers ASAP. Did you see Druski reclaiming the word woke? No, Druski is using the word woke in the appropriate way that it was initially created, which was a black community meme, and he's actually bringing it back. He's bringing it back to the origins. Like, that is the actual meaning of the term woke. That's just the OG. I guess technically you're right. That is what reclaiming means. You're right. Anyway, the Druski repost is gone. Maybe he deleted it. He did. maybe he got the boss call and someone was like, bro, what are you doing? Don't post him. He's problematic. And he deleted it. I don't know. I only rely on your IG stories to know when you go live. That's the only way I've ever known if you're live. Yeah. It is pretty funny that I'm considered more problematic than like people who routinely make problematic jokes, you know. God forbid. Yeah. Can't be pro-Palestine, baby. You do all your social media yourself? I use Chatterino and blast that old oh my gosh sound clip when you or Iron Mouse goes live. You are pro-Palestina. Viva si yo si. Yeah, dude. I know. Except, weirdly enough, everyone who's pro-Palestina is called protest, if you noticed. Isn't that suspicious? Isn't that a little weird? That, like, everyone who is an outspoken advocate for Palestinian emancipation is suspiciously always called Isn't that odd? Isn't that a little weird? I wonder what that's about. What?
A tale of clout, cowardice, and contradictions so vast, so gargantuan, so downright goofy that we have no choice but to talk about it today. You know, I've seen a lot of things in my life, but this right here, this is peak 2025 internet culture, a digital circus starring none other than Hasan Piker and Druski, with a special cameo from the invisible hand of corporate overlords who make the real decisions behind the scenes. This isn't just a story about a deleted Instagram post. This is a microcosm of everything wrong with social media, celebrity culture, and the performative nature of modern activism. It's a story about how words lose their meaning, how influence is wielded, and how the lines between authenticity and performance blur until they're indistinguishable. It's a story about power, perception, and the price of clout in the digital age. So let's get into it. Druski, comedian extraordinaire, Instagram MVP, the funny guy that everybody loves, posts an Instagram story showing his support for Hasan Piker. Now, for those of you who have been living under a rock, Hasan Piker is the Twitch-streaming left-wing firebrand, the guy who yells at his screen while reacting to videos, the self-styled revolutionary who somehow always has time to flex his biceps while denouncing capitalism on a capitalist-owned platform. That Hasan Piker! But then, faster than a blue checkmark clout chaser deleting an old tweet, the post disappeared. Vanished. Poof, like it was never there. And suddenly, we all had the same question. What happened? Who made the call? Because let's be honest, somebody made the call, and if you think otherwise, I've got a bridge in Brooklyn to sell you. Now, let's talk about the word at the center of this mess, woke. That word, oh boy. That word has done more backflips than an Olympic gymnast at the Summer Games. Once upon a time, it had a simple, powerful meaning. A term born in black culture, a term that meant being aware, truly aware of systemic injustices, of racial disparities, of the reality behind the illusion. Stay woke was a rallying cry, a warning, a signal of understanding. It was a call to action, a reminder to keep your eyes open in a world that often prefers you keep them shut. But in the hands of clout-chasing politicians, reactionary grifters, and confused suburban soccer moms, woke has been distorted, manipulated, and turned into a meaningless buzzword that can mean anything and everything depending on who's using it. For some, it's a badge of honor, a sign that they're on the right side of history. For others, it's a slur, a way to dismiss anyone who dares to challenge the status quo. And for the corporate machine, it's a marketing tool, a way to sell products while pretending to care about social justice. So here comes Druski, a comedian, a guy who literally makes his living making fun of everything and everyone, trying to reclaim woke and use it in its original context. And guess what? He actually gets it right. He uses it as it was intended. But instead of celebrating this, instead of applauding the fact that someone with influence is restoring the term's dignity, we get radio silence. And then a quiet deletion of Hasan's endorsement. Why? Because the moment you try to reclaim a word, the moment you try to give it back its power, you become a threat. And threats don't last long in the world of social media. They get erased, silenced, or co-opted. And that's exactly what happened here. Now, let's talk about Hasan for a second, because you already know Hasan saw that deleted post and had himself a meltdown. And I gotta say, it is hilarious. My man wakes up every morning ready to fight the world, ready to battle the forces of evil, but only from the comfort of his multi-million-dollar mansion. Oh yes, let's not forget the house, folks. A man of the people who lives like a king. A socialist who's got more square footage than a suburban Costco. The irony, it's beautiful. Hasan, my guy, you're shocked that Druski deleted his post. Really? The same Hollywood machine that picks and chooses who gets to speak, who gets to be seen, and who gets to disappear. You thought they were gonna let you slide. Come on now. This is the same industry that will cancel someone for making an offensive joke decades ago, but will turn right around and give a standing ovation to a war criminal because they gave a good speech at an awards show. And you thought you were safe. Bless your heart. And let's not pretend like Hasan isn't used to this. My man is always problematic to someone. If he's not being accused of being too radical, then he's being accused of not being radical enough. If he's not being called a grifter for profiting off his leftist content, then he's being dragged for not being grifty enough compared to the real hustlers out here. It never ends, and it won't. Because the truth is, Hasan exists in a weird limbo where he's too mainstream to be embraced by the true radicals, but too controversial to be accepted by the mainstream. And that's a lonely, lonely place to be. But let's get back to the real question. Who made the call? Because I don't believe for a single second that Druski woke up and said, you know what? I think I'm gonna delete that Hasan Piker post just for fun. No way. Somebody said something. Somebody with power, somebody with influence, somebody who controls the bag. Because let's be real, Druski is a brand now. He's not just a dude making Instagram videos, he's a business. He's got deals, endorsements, partnerships. And all it takes is one of those corporate execs to send a quick text, make a quiet phone call, and suddenly the post is gone. And Hasan, left out in the cold, looking confused as always. And you know what that call sounded like. Oh, you already know. Hey, Druski, listen, love what you're doing, big fan, but that Hasan Piker post. Yeah, we need that gone. No hard feelings, just business, you understand? Cool, appreciate it. And just like that, poof, post deleted, like it never happened. Because that's how the game is played, folks. The moment you're deemed too hot to touch, the moment your name starts raising eyebrows in the boardrooms, you get erased. So what have we learned here today? We've learned that the word woke has been hijacked, stretched, twisted, and now, apparently, reclaimed. We've learned that Hasan Piker, for all his influence, is still not powerful enough to avoid being quietly erased by the industry machine. And we've learned that Druski, despite being one of the funniest guys in the game, still has to answer to the higher-ups when they tell him to scrub an endorsement that might just be a little too spicy for their liking. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the state of the internet in 2025. A place where words have no meaning, where clout is currency, and where even a comedy post can turn into a political scandal overnight. Hasan, my guy, you got your shoes. But what does that mean? Maybe nothing, maybe everything. Either way, lace 'em up tight, because this game ain't stopping anytime soon.